Most of us never think about what's happening behind our walls, beneath our homes, or above our ceilings, until one day we hear it.
I'd be laying there at night in bed and I'd hear this faint scratching because it's never just one mouse.
What happens if pest control doesn't exist?
That scratching was just the beginning. To understand what homeowners rarely see and why it matters, I sat down with Samantha Malone, Executive Director of Washington State Pest Management Association, to uncover the hidden reality of pest control.
What happens if pest control doesn't exist?
Yeah, I mean, your food supply chain is going to be interrupted because there will be disease in the crop production. There will be rodents in the warehouses where they're distributing your food. So there's a lot that can really go wrong if pest management didn't exist. Pest management really is public health.
Yeah. Well, when I think about when some of those viruses that broke out, you think of malaria. Obviously, we don't have much of that here, but I assume they probably called pest control to try to curb that.
Absolutely. And again, diseases like that are really scary. Our rodents carry diseases as well. And second would be, are they going to cause a house fire because they are chewing on wires looking for nesting material? Plumbing issues as well. A lot of our refrigerators now come with water, wired into it, and they can chew on that and then cause a slow drip. And then you've got rot and you've got mold and you've got all this damage and things that you just wouldn't think of from one mouse, because it's never just one mouse. Where there's one, there's more.
Wow.
And so if you take away pest management, there would be a lot of loss of life if we were to decide pest management was no longer a thing. It would take us a long time to figure out those alternatives.
What are some of the hard realities that people aren't aware of?
So one of the hard realities, obviously, is public perception of pest management. And with our generation wanting to be more responsible of the environment, they think that all pest management does is come in and spray pesticides everywhere and contaminate everything, which in reality is not what we're doing. Responsible pest management professionals are doing everything they can to reduce the amount that we are putting into the environment. And that's why we have shifted as an industry to be more inspection based. We don't want to go out there and drench everything in a pesticide. We want to be responsible about what we're doing. And I don't think that message has made it into the public at the rate at which we would hope it would.
Yeah.
The homes that look the most ordinary sometimes hold the most unforgettable stories.
So the one that I can remember is a story my dad would tell over and over again when I was a kid. And he's like, we got called out to this house because they said they had rats. And you think, okay, a house has rats. They're going to be under the house. Maybe there's one here or there. And he goes, so we walked into this house and she goes, they're in the basement. He's like, okay. And he opens the door to the basement and he starts down the stairs and then he just hears all the squeaking. And then he looks at the floor and it's all like wiggly, and the whole floor was rats. And he's like, this lady has rats.
Wow.
And he had never seen, the floor was moving with rats. He was like, there's no way. They were doing things this was probably in the 80s, but they were doing things they should not have done. And he was just blown away. And then he saw, in the sea of movement, he's like, that rat looks a little different. So he went out to his truck and he put a box down. The rat ran in. He brought the rat home, and we had a pet rat from then on.
That was so good because I was just hanging on the edge of my seat. That was pretty funny.
Sometimes the reality is a little more intense than most homeowners realize.
I'd be laying there at night in bed and I'd hear this faint scratching, like so quiet, like to the point where I thought I was maybe a little crazy. And then I remember I was outside in the backyard and I looked up at the peak in the house and I saw yellow jackets flying right into the corner where I was hearing the scratch.
Wow.
Scratch. So they were in there building their nest and scratching away, and I would hear them at night because it was very quiet. And so we had a customer call and they were like, I hear this scratching in this one corner. It's only at night that I really hear it, and it sounds kind of like buzzing. I'm like, I know what you have. And so I was like, we're going to send a technician out so they can
Interesting.
check it out. And they were convinced that we were going to have to cut a hole in their ceiling and do all these things. But because we were able to catch it early on, we were able to treat from the outside and eliminate the problem.
Wow, that's cool. So, and I'm learning more about yellow jackets and what they can do and how those nests can expand. How bad could it get with yellow jackets?
There are times, we haven't had to do it, but times where you'll have to cut into the wall or the ceiling to go ahead and take care of them. But most of it can be done from the outside. But if somebody lets it go for a long time, maybe they don't hear it or notice it or whatever, it can get pretty bad. There can be some structural damage that needs repair.
Really? So are they able to, let's say they set up right outside one of the corners, are they able to work their way inside from that entry point?
Yeah, into wall voids, yes.
Wow.
yeah, that's pretty incredible. And I have one more rat story.
Yeah.
And so we were out and we were rat hunting. We were looking for all the signs and burrows. And we come around to like this delivery area, and there's forklifts and people driving stuff around. And this lady's sitting in a forklift. And we're standing there. And we watched this rat jump into the wheel well, come up across, and the lady's sitting there, and she's like, I don't want, it came across the steering wheel, climbed into her lap, and was like up on her jacket in her face in broad daylight. This rat was the most brave rat I have ever seen.
That's pretty brave.
And so as pest professionals, we like shoo it away and rescue the lady. But I have never seen a rat that bold in daylight.
Yeah, she'll be probably traumatized.
She got off that like it happens all the time, and maybe it does happen all the time there because there's a lot of rats up there. But I was like, man, lady, I'd be burning my clothes now. She just went back to work. I was like, oh, I know too much. Sometimes you do know too much, and you're like, I wish I didn't know that.
Yeah. How did you get into this space?
Yeah, so that is actually one of my most favorite stories to tell. My dad actually was in the business when I was born, and so, I was born right into it, hated it my entire life. I was like, no way. That's gross. Who wants to do that? It's terrible. No little girl wants to play in the dirt and crawl under houses and have spiders drop on her head. So did everything I could to not get involved. And then at one point, I woke up one morning after dropping out of college a couple times, trying to escape the industry, and I thought my dad has the best job. Because what he did while I was growing up that I didn't appreciate at the time is he taught me that it wasn't about pest control, it was about people.
Yeah.
And so I woke up one day and I was like, all he does is talk to people and solve problems. I was like, that's kind of cool. So I determined that was what I wanted to do. And in 2017, started my own business here in Olympia, and it's just grown from there.
Well, I love that. And you bring up something very interesting. And I'll dive into it. There's the narrative that has been pushed on all of us of you either go to college or there's no other options. And this option of being in the trades, being in pest control, the home services, is an option most people just never thought of. But there's a lot of great opportunity in this space. Tell me, when did it really hit you that this is something that could go further?
Could earn me a living. So
earn you a living.
I went to school for music, and being a musician is very hard and sometimes not very financially rewarding. So I looked at what my dad had done, and again, he saved a lot of money, but he created a life for me that was incredible. And so when I determined that being a musician was going to be a lot of very hard work, I looked at what he had done, and I thought, this really isn't that hard, and there's actually a lot of money in it too if you grow and invest yourself and throw yourself into it with your whole heart. So at some point I decided this was how I wanted to make my living, and if I was going to support my family, I was going to need to be pretty good at it. So I just in order to get better at it, you got to get further into it. So
I think you touch on some very important parts. Is you can make an incredible living in this space. A lot of people that go to college, they end up with a lot of debt. And it may take them years and years just to even get in the field. With being in the pest control, there's an opportunity, like you said, if you work hard, you're able to make a difference and build a living for you and your family. How's that been for you, just being able to do that?
It's been really amazing to do that. I didn't have any formal training in business management. I didn't have any formal training in pest management. And one of the cool things about this industry is you don't have to have that. You get to learn on the job. The training is typically included when you enter the industry. And I know that both the technicians that we've hired here at our company have had zero background. They didn't go to school for this, and they came in and they got paychecks right off the bat, and they got to learn on the job, and we supported them through that. And we now just celebrated year 2 with our second technician. So he's doing great, and he's supporting his family. He enjoys what he does, and when people enjoy what they do, they're happier at work.
After spending time with Samantha, one thing became clear. Pest control isn't just about the pests. It's about the people protecting the places we call home. This is Local Service Legendz, hidden in plain sight.